Hey y'all, welcome to Snacks. We are live.
What's up,
Happy
Snackers?
Thursday.
Courtney, happy Thursday. It's Courtney.
Miriam in the house, in my house.
Okay, in our separate houses still. We can't wait for outside to open up so we can be together.
We just got a
Welcome
girls
to Snax.
get together on the book, so I'm excited about that.
Okay, June 26th. I shouldn't tell our dates.
Well, okay. They don't know where we going.
I know they're going to come. Right, that's true. They're going to come. Girl, I be having stalkers sometimes. I'm like, I shouldn't have said. True. So welcome to Snax. We are a radio podcast. Find us everywhere. Instagram, YouTube at Snax_LA, Facebook at Snax Fans, Twitter is Snax LA also, right, Mir?
Correct. Snax_LA.
Snax_LA is YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. You can email us at Snax Chats. We said we were going to look into that other thing. What was it?
I will. You know, the week got busy. Maybe it was on TV. I was trying to, I had a lot going on this week. So, but yeah, I'm going to look into it for sure.
Right. Okay. So we might change that because, we had a cuter name. And so let's get into our Snaxship. That is our relationship. It can be any kind of relationship.
Are you snacking on anything today?
I'm not snacking on anything because I kind of just rushed in. How about you? What are you snacking on?
I'm not snacking. I had a fish taco earlier, so I'm good.
Oh, really? That sounds good. From where?
Del Taco. I really like their fish tacos.
I never had them, I don't think.
Yeah, and then they give you the fresh lime and squeeze on there.
You gotta have some fresh lime.
Gotta have it.
Maybe I'll do that. My cousin is coming to town tonight, and I'm like, it's so late that he's gonna get here that I really don't need to have any food. But I come from that background where you're still supposed to have some food in the house. It's gonna be 1 a.m. But maybe fish tacos.
Do you have you ever made fish tacos before?
Oh, all the time.
Oh yeah, all the time. It's easy. It's quick.
I've been thinking, what can I make? That'll be perfect because he's not he doesn't eat meat or beef at least.
Oh, he's a vegetarian.
Turkey, so that'll be good. Yeah, I do some fish tacos. Thank you, man. Appreciate you, girl. So our Snaxship is not a heartache this week. We are celebrating love. A$AP Rocky has fully claimed and said that Rihanna is the love of his life. We like that. She was dating that billionaire. It's like and that's so funny because we're getting into the side chick today as our main topic, right? And usually that's like a sugar daddy. It can be, So she was with the billionaire.
Yeah, but he was pretty young, wasn't he? Wasn't he kind of young?
I thought he was an older guy. I thought so, but I don't think we have research. I don't think he was young. I don't know.
I think he was, not super young, but he was maybe in his 30s, 40s. Like he wasn't an old guy.
40s.
40s? Okay.
No, but for her, I would think. Let me see. Saudi 30s. Businessman. He does look kind of young.
Yes.
He's 32.
See? He was young. I told you.
Go ahead, okay.
But I don't like A$AP Rocky. Rihanna is like, I'm like very.
She loves Rihanna. If you call Rihanna
and who she dates. Yes. I don't like A$AP Rocky for her. I don't think she's equally in love with A$AP Rocky.
You don't think so?
I don't.
Aww.
Unfortunately for A$AP, and people have been saying the same thing.
It was a mismatch.
Yeah,
it was hard to be like, really, A$AP, really, okay, but he must have put some grown man moves on.
He doesn't seem like that manly kind of guy that Rihanna prefers. He wears skirts.
Is he a baby daddy by somebody?
Does he have kids, A$AP Rocky?
By somebody famous?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't think he has kids. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But kudos to ASAP for putting his name on it. You know, that's a Rihanna song. Come and put your name on it. Put your name on it. So good for him for announcing his love for Rihanna and that she's the love of his life. And he said that she
and the one.
Yeah, he told her. Yeah, he said she was the one, and that she amounts to 1 million of the other girls that he's dated. Like she equals 1 million of them. So his nose is open, wide open. He's in love. He's ready to take himself off the market for Riri. And then when they posted it, they posted it on Shade Room. And everybody was like, Rihanna's the love of everybody's life. Duh.
True. Okay, even yours.
It was like, what else?
Right.
Tell me something I don't know, right?
She's the one for everybody.
Exactly. Like, who wouldn't be in love with her? But anyway.
That's funny.
Good for them.
We wish them the best.
I hope it works. Yeah. I don't see it lasting, but that's just me.
I think they're going to surprise you, Miriam.
You think
I hope they're going to surprise you.
She hasn't said anything.
So,
doesn't that concern you that she hasn't spoken about their relationship at all?
No, I love that. She's just in her power, and I love that the man. That doesn't mean that she doesn't love him as much, but like she's always private though. She never really came out with anybody. We saw her with Chris Brown, and that's how we knew they were together. But she's never been like, this is my boyfriend in love.
No, but we see them out. She has kept all of her dealings with A$AP Rocky very private. Like they have to steal shots of her and A$AP Rocky.
Well, it's a pandemic, so you got to take that to effect too. They went on a vacation somewhere and they caught those pictures, but we've been in a pandemic, so they haven't been out like that. You know what I mean? So that may be one of the reasons. But yeah, I think she's had enough. I think she's had enough experiences between Chris Brown, the Saudi billionaire. I mean, these are like extremes, and whoever else in between, that she knows a good guy in love, and you want a man to be all about you. So I think that, she wouldn't spend this much time if she didn't feel him, and she
might like him. I don't doubt it. She might even love him, but I don't think she would marry him. I don't think that's gonna last.
I think she would. We're gonna see. Courtney says they're gonna give. She would. I don't know if he's gonna ask her, but she would.
You want to make a little wager? Let's make a little wager. I'm just kidding. Let's not.
Hilarious. We should make that a poll question.
Let's not.
On love. You gotta bet on love, right? I don't know.
Oh yeah, you do kind of want to bet on love.
We should put that up. Like, do you think Rihanna and A$AP are gonna last?
Yeah, that'd be a good little question to ask.
What's his real name? You all about the real name.
Because of his stance on a lot of major issues concerning our community.
Like what?
He said he doesn't care about Well, Rihanna, I look at Rihanna. Rihanna's kind of an activist, right? She's vocal about things that are going on in the world that are bad. And A$AP Rocky, when he got stuck in Sweden, remember when he got stuck in Sweden, he was in jail.
Oh, he's the one that got stuck in Sweden?
Yes. Yeah. And it was karma because he had said he didn't care about police brutality and how all these Black people were being racially profiled and things like that. And then it happened to him. And then it's like, oh, but he still didn't come out as being humbled. He still didn't change his stance on that. And that's why I feel like
he didn't change
with their values. Their values are different.
I don't think she would date somebody who would be mismatched in that value. Because like I said, she's been in the street protesting. So I don't think she would be with somebody who's just like, so I'm saying, how do you know he hasn't changed? Or didn't see the light? She may be enlightened.
He hasn't spoken about it publicly. He never came out and said, you know what I said that wasn't cool. Like, I don't feel that way anymore. Like I'm just resting on the fact that he hasn't made a redactment of his statement.
I don't think he's had the opportunity.
But he did say it and he never cleaned it up. So
I don't think he's had the opportunity. I could probably see that Rihanna has probably
what he has said and what I haven't heard.
Of course.
But yeah, he may have.
I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. I think Rihanna may be the reason that he's changed. So she may have changed him. And that's why he's so in love with her. Like that kind of stuff, when you hit a person's soul and open their minds and everything, that helps you fall in love with a person. So
I agree. I mean, I hope that she has had that kind of influence over him. We'll see.
We shall see. I know, right?
That's always the, you know, it's like, we'll see, but, you know.
We'll see. Exactly.
Anyway, we have a serious topic ahead of us. Now, just to preface this, you know, I think I stumbled upon a video, or one of us, or both of us, I don't know. I stumbled upon a video.
You sent it to me. You always send it to me.
Oh, yeah. I keep getting these own videos, like Oprah's old shows. I guess that she taped like,
right.
So this was like a video from like 2007, I think. So I guess somebody is posting, I think OWN is posting all of her like old episodes of Oprah, the Oprah show. And so one of the shows was Oprah interviewed 4 sidechicks, mistresses, homewreckers, whatever you want to call them. Okay. So she interviews these 4 women, and it was a really good interview. And I just found it very interesting because we always talk about, like, we hear the wife side, we hear the man side, but people are so angry with the mistress that we don't even really hear what the mistress has to say, right?
Right.
So it's like, I feel like this is a very important perspective, especially for wives. Like if you're married, and I brought up, so I mentioned this woman named Esther Perel. She's like a relationship guru, but she's written books. And she's very well respected in this, you know, relationship community or whatever you want to call it. And I love her because she was like in this one video, what amazes me is that cheating has been going on since the beginning of time. And yet wives and women are so shocked when it happens. And it's like, why are you shocked? Like this is like, I mean, I don't want to say the norm, but it's pretty prevalent for you not to be like,
I think they're shocked about they're shocked about their individual man being the one.
But why?
In it, I think not just because some of them didn't even see it coming, or they're hurt. You love me.
Would you agree most men cheat?
I would say men cheat.
You think all men cheat?
No. No.
So you would say some men cheat. Whereas I say most. I say the vast
maybe majority. A lot. I say the vast majority.
What'd you say?
Like every day I knew.
What?
I said, you like every dude I knew.
No, not every dude I knew, but I just would say, I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at the numbers. I'm looking at my own experiences. I'm looking at other people that I know, their experiences. And it's just like, that's what you see. That's what you hear. So why would you think that it wouldn't happen to you? So let's just jump into it. In this particular video, one of the women was married and having an affair with a married man. So they're both married. That happens.
You know what's interesting with that? Let's talk about them as we bring them up, because we don't forget to go back.
That's a good idea.
But what was interesting, I thought about that, is that she said, and I this was her saving grace for me. She told her husband that I'm unfulfilled, I'm not whatever, the spark is gone. She had been telling him for a couple of years, I think, and he didn't listen. So he said that, you know, when she told him, I mean, she said he actually fell to his knees crying and everything when she told him, but actually this has made their marriage even stronger. He said it knocked me off of my high horse, my stud horse, because he didn't see it coming, you know. But the fact that she had told him and he did nothing about it, I was like, what else you supposed to do? No, but
right. kind of didn't.
What do you think about that?
He didn't heed the red flags, the signals. Like, she's literally telling you, I'm not happy, and you're not willing to do anything about that. I am having a slight technical difficulty, so let me step away for just. Okay, keep talking. You can keep talking.
Okay. And that doesn't mean that, you know, a person says that it's like, oh, I'm going to cheat. No, you don't. I think a lot of times, of course, all the women on the panel, you don't plan on cheating or plan on, you know, what some people do, like, I'm looking for something extra because their home is boring. But you don't plan on having an affair or whatever. But when you're in that mood or in that mode, and you warn your partner, you don't know how that's going to turn out, but you're just saying, this is how I'm feeling. So you would want them to intervene. I don't think she went out looking for an affair, but it happened because she was in that space. So close up that space. If your spouse is saying something, you know, pay attention to it.
Right. And why wouldn't you? To me, it's like,
you're selfish.
But I think that above all else, that indicates that there's a problem in the marriage. So, because people like to look at cheating like this thing that exists outside of the marriage, but it's really an indication that something is wrong in the marriage.
Right.
Usually, right? So it's kind of like, why aren't we addressing the root of the issue instead of just addressing the cheating?
Right. Comedian Joe Claire, he posted something today saying a husband cheats, and the wife cheats in revenge of that and gets knocked up by the guy she cheats with. Who destroyed the marriage? The husband or the wife? Well, as many people in the comments said, that marriage was destroyed before they even cheated. You know what I mean? Right. Even though he opened the door. She destroyed it with the baby, but the problem was there before either one of them decided to cheat. So,
and that's why I have a problem with the term homewrecker. It's like you wrecked your own home by not listening, by not addressing the issues in your relationship. How can you blame an outside party for something that's going on between you and your husband? Like, I will never understand that. And that's why this topic is so intriguing to me.
Yeah. I think the outside person brings it to light, if anything else, huh? If nothing else, they bring it to light. They make it tangible.
And I've heard a lot of people say that the affair kind of saved their marriage, right? Because
that's what that lady said.
Brought the issues out, and they had to address it. It's almost like they were forced to either walk away, address it. Like, either we're gonna leave and just divorce, or we're gonna work on this and figure it out, right? So I wonder how, and you know, I've never been married and, you know, cheated on or whatever, but I wonder how an affair actually helps them get to the point where they're like, okay, we need to do something. Like, why didn't you want to do anything before that?
Well, with this couple, as I said, he said that, you know, it really knocked him off of his high horse. So like his ego was just like, oh, she's just complaining. He's just not thinking that she's going to act or anything would happen from that. He's not even thinking that something would happen from that. And she said this is the best their marriage has ever been after that. So I think once you get past the trust issues and you deal with the root of the problem, you know, then it can come together. But she was crazy, honey, that she would be like, she said this guy in a truck, the guy pulled up in a truck. Hers was so like, not to say ghetto, but it was just like, she was behind the park. Like,
you went having sex in a van?
In the car all the time. So it wasn't even.
Oh, that wasn't her. That was the one wasn't that the one that's still having an affair? I think it was her. She was in a van with him.
Oh, I didn't hear the van, but this lady was meeting the guy in the truck, and they were doing it in the little deserted areas they had, the little area. And I was like,
that would really tell me this is wrong. If I was in a truck. Like,
girl,
you differentiate,
you can't get a hotel
from like the glamorous affairs, right, with celebrities and stuff. Like, y'all really just gonna do it in a truck or a van? Like, I don't.
in a wooded area. Like, you're 30, like you can't get a hotel. I don't understand.
Can y'all not afford
They was quickying it up. You hear me? There was nothing but quickie, girl. Like, okay.
He said we knew it.
I got on a dress with no panties. Let's
everything. You just push it back and then you put your leg over here. I'm like, whoa. This is ridiculous.
I got long legs. That
and
ain't
these are
work.
grown people. Anyway, so that was one scenario. And she, like he said, she said that her marriage is the best it's ever been since here. And it kind of it's like a wake up call. That's what I've heard as well. It's like a wake up call. So then there was another woman who had 2 affairs in her lifetime. One lasted 7 years. That's a long time.
Relationship. That was crazy to me. Yeah, but go ahead. Yeah.
7 years. And she explained that it was more of like she was being treated a certain kind of way. So she didn't have any problem with, she said she had a problem with what she was doing, but it was more acceptable.
It's a black lady?
I think the black one, yeah. Mm-hmm. What did you think about that situation?
That seemed kind of like the tip.
Now she's married now.
Yeah, happily married. She said.
Yeah, she's actually married now. So she was like coming from a different angle because now she's in the position of the wife. But then also she said what did she say? She said she was, I just lost my train of thought. It was good.
Well, I was going to say she maybe I'll come back to you.
Yeah.
She was one who was one of the typical ones where like he lied and kind of, she felt like he manipulated her and, like I'm going to leave the wife, that whole regular scenario of,
right,
selling the dream and I'm not happy at home. Was she the one that saw the wife? The wife was actually pretty? Or yeah, she had this picture based on what he was saying of this wife that, wasn't cute, wasn't doing anything, whatever. And she saw him and she was beautiful. And, so he was lying and downplaying his home life to her. Right. So she felt duped.
Yeah. And she said also that she didn't know her men were married until she was already emotionally involved. So sometimes, like it's like you don't know and then you get in it and then you're caught up. It's like, oh man, like I'm with this person. What do I do? Do I cut it off? And then it becomes more difficult to cut it off when you're already in love with the person. So she did feel bad about it today. Like when that interview happened, she said that she felt bad about having an affair. Oh, this is what it was. She said she found out that she was the other woman. So her man on her with another woman. And that's
he married, got her and another.
Yeah. That's probably when she was like,
she knew
oh
she
no.
had to get out.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Which brings up a good point. Do you think, I would venture to say that most men do not cut off these affairs. It's the other woman that ends up cutting it off. Like if she gets tired of the situation or she's kind of like, are you going to leave her or what? Like, what are you going to do?
Right.
And if you're not going to do it, then I'm out. Right.
Right.
Whereas, so I bring that up to say to the wives, like, if you really want to be with this person, just deal with it. I mean, not saying deal with the cheating, but like you can outlast this woman because she's eventually gonna get tired.
Of the lies.
So
hopefully, some don't chat.
Well, that other girl, we'll talk about her in a second.
Oh yeah, they'll have a whole other family and be content with just like this man that goes home to his wife. That's crazy to me.
I know.
Like,
well, I've heard of a situation, I told you about this, where this woman is in a relationship. This is a real relationship. She lives with this man But the man is still legally married to someone else.
Well, that's on paper. So, I mean, what do you mean him and the wife aren't together? You mean just on paper?
She's been in this for 20 years.
She's been with him for 20 years?
Yes.
Why he ain't got the paper? I'm thinking, okay, sometimes it takes 2, 3, 5 years.
That's what I'm saying. It's weird, right? This is the truth. This is the guy.
So for 20 years, he been saying the court is backed up.
He's saying I'm not getting divorced. So what it's gonna be. We could be together, but I'm not getting a divorce.
He told her he's not getting a divorce.
Correct.
Why not?
I don't know. But does it matter?
So does he still
is he still willing to maybe it's a religious thing, I just really feel like, I don't know. But would you be able to stay in a situation where you can never truly be with this person?
No, what's the point? I have to know the reason. Even if it's religious, the God don't want you doing that.
I know, that's worse.
White people, sorry, white people, but y'all be like, God doesn't want me to divorce, but I'm gonna kill my wife. Right.
You already know.
It doesn't. He doesn't like murder either, and he doesn't like infidelity and adultery either. So
he doesn't like any of it.
Now you make it 2 cents. You're just still sinning.
Right. Okay, so real quick, let's dive into these last 2. So one was, I want to talk about the one who's still having an affair. And I want to say something about Oprah after that. So there's one woman.
Oprah had an affair?
Oh yeah, let's talk about that too. So there's one woman that was on the show who's still having an affair. It's been going on for 6 years. She started dating the guy when he was not married. So he was not married when she met him. Got married. Chose not to marry you, chose to marry somebody else, and then you're still gonna be with him.
Now let me explain what she said, because after I was like, okay, but I still wouldn't deal with it. But she was like, I was in the place of my life of just having fun when we met, not even whatever. He was already in that situation. He had a girlfriend. I knew he had a girlfriend. And I guess she didn't kind of want to get married or anything. I don't even know if it came that way, but he was already thick in that situation. So I guess probably their bond wasn't strong enough for him to break up and go with her. But he went on and married this girl, and she went on and stayed. But now she would want a whole relationship. She done moved to where he is, even though she said her family lived by him. So she moved.
I caught that. They were like, yeah,
she said, girl,
you moved to be with that man. You did. But isn't that kind of what happened with Bill Gates and his wife? He was dating that woman that he was having an affair with for 25 years. They were already dating, and he chose to marry Melinda. This was an ex-girlfriend of his. So it's kind of like, how do you get in that position? But too, we said that.
I couldn't. That's heartbreaking.
I know. It's devastating. But some women, I think it's not like they say, oh, you rather have a piece of a man and, not get your own man or whatever. But it's kind of like if you fell in love with someone, some of the women are thinking like, I want to be with him. It's not generally speaking, would I rather have a piece of a man? No, I want to be with that man.
Men know you're vulnerable.
And whatever he can give me, basically.
But they wait until once you fall in love. They know once you fell in love, they got you. So
they got a hold on you. Right?
Yeah, and that girl.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I believe it was 7 years. You said 6. I believe it because it was both of them said 7 years. The black girl and this one, and she was like, so when she was 29, I think she said she was 36, and I just think I was doing the math. I'm like, girl, those are your good years, like 29 to 36. You wasting it on this guy.
That's what the black girl said. She regretted wasting all this time with someone who was taken when she could have been out you know, finding someone who was actually available to be with her.
Ladies, those are your good years. You're looking good. Your eggs are nice and fresh. Like, even if you're playing around, please don't waste 6 and 7 years with no married man at all. At all. No.
Very long.
Give him 11 months.
Have your fun, go on some trips. That's it.
Right.
What I found interesting, there's another video where Oprah interviews 7 men that are cheating, right? And did you see that one?
Yeah.
You did?
A long time ago, though, so I don't really recall it. Yeah.
Well, what I found interesting was how contemptuous she was with the Sidechicks. She was mad at them, even though she admitted to having her own affair with the married man when she was in her 20s, right? Oprah
You mean on the
admitted
show we're talking about?
Well, I'm
saying she was contentious.
So I'm going back and forth. So on the you know, the one where she's interviewing the mistresses, she admitted that she had an affair with the married man when she was in her 20s. But she regretted it and she thought it was vile and all of this, right? And the way she talks to the women, the mistresses, is with utter contempt. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't get that. I thought she was very
very angry, especially with the one who was still in it. She was just like, "You're pathetic." She told her basically she was pathetic.
It's pathetic, you know. She kept calling her pathetic.
She did. She was being mean to those women. And what was interesting is when she interviewed the men, it was totally different. She was laughing and joking and being open with them. And it's a sign of what's going on now. We are angry with these mistresses, but the men kind of get a pass in a sense. They're like,
they get a pass.
She's all jovial with them and understanding. Oh, and you said this, and oh yeah. But with the mistresses, it was like, how dare you? Yeah, did you understand that it hurts the wife? And I was just like, why is there the way we handle the man who's cheating and the woman who's cheating with the married man? Isn't that always the case?
I am with that. Always the case. I'm with that. They do not get the same treatment or punishments that they should. The man is the one that did it. He the one that actually he owns the wife. He's the one that signed the contract. You know what I mean? So like you have a business contract. He's the one that messed up the business contract. What do you say, Miriam, when somebody doesn't fulfill the contract?
Yeah, he
breached the contract. Thank you. He's the one that breached the contract. So.
Exactly. So why are we? It's so insane to me. Like mentally, how can you hold someone who wasn't even a part of the contract liable for a contract that you have in law? Let me just say, in law, that would not fly. I cannot go over here and sue this person who had nothing to do with this contract for messing up. Well, there are some cases where that's the case, but generally speaking, you can't do that.
But I was going to say on that same Oprah show, remember she brought up the wife who sued the mistress for $50,000 $500,000, and she won. But then she just settled for $50,000 because there was an appeal and all this stuff. But in her state, of course, you can't sue the man. Oprah said, "Why don't you sue the husband?" You can't because it's a divorce thing. That's divorce. You can sue the wife.
Well, you can't sue your husband. You can't.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. You go through divorce.
One entity anyway. When you're married, you're considered.
Right.
So she can't sue her husband. She can sue the other woman.
You can't sue your husband. You just get a divorce and you get a settlement from your divorce. You can't sue him. But she sued the mistress because wherever she was in her state, the mistress pursued her husband. And I forget what exactly the charge was, but I can't remember what it was. But
affection.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Alienation of affection from the mistress. The mistress sent letters and risque pictures. And so she proved that the mistress was pursuing her husband. That was different to me. I was like, what?
That is different. If you are actively pursuing a man, which to me is not typically the case, Because in my experience, I mean, these married men, especially these days, they be all up in the DMs, the inboxes.
Girl.
They are out on the prowl. Out.
They out here. They out here.
So, but back then, you know, cell phones weren't as, you know, prevalent as they are now. So, yes, if a woman is actively pursuing a man who's married, she knows he's married and still knows, I think that's totally wrong. It's totally wrong. And so maybe, so the basis, I'll explain what the basis of alienation of affections is. It's based on the fact that he's spending his time and money, resources outside of the marriage when he should be spending on his kids and his wife, right? So when you alienate, you know, it's like it's a legal term, but I won't get into all that.
But my thing is how she could, yeah, but I see that being applied to the husband, but that's weird that she sued the woman for alienation, I guess, of her husband, not just of the woman.
For taking his resources from the family, from the communal home, whatever you want to call it, yeah. And she's taking his affections away from his wife, right? If she's sleeping with him, he ain't gonna really be wanting to sleep with her. Some men do still sleep with their wives, which is a whole nother ballgame. I'm like,
I know.
Now I think that's totally wrong too, men. Like if you're gonna be cheating, why are you dipping in the two pots? Like
they need them. That's why they got two pots. That's why they got two pots.
I know. Got two pots. But
they greedy, girl. They greedy.
What'd you say? Oh, they're greedy. Yeah, but do you think? Okay, so on the one with the men, though, this one man was torn up. He was still crying, and him and his wife had kind of resolved the issue, but it was because he had fallen in love with his mistress. Now he was married for 18 years. This was his first time ever cheating on his wife, but he fell in love with this woman. And, you know, I think about like, because men, I will often see like in comments on videos like that, the woman be like, he don't love her. He don't love nobody but himself. It's like, okay, but you believe that he loves you still, but he cheated on you. Like, he's lying to everybody. So why would you believe that you don't believe that he loves her? Like, he don't know what love is. It's like, what? I don't get it. It's again, this mindset, like, but I just really quick, because we're kind of going over time, but I thought it was interesting, like, to discuss the reasons why a lot of side chicks decide to continue or become the side chick. And so some of the reasons were, one woman said, you don't have the obligations of being a wife. It's kind of like renting a husband, right?
Right. So I don't have to cook, clean,
take care,
just go on dates, have great sex. None of that.
When I feel like it, you can come over, we could do whatever, we can hang out, and then you go home and I don't have to be bothered with you.
And I don't have to explain to you when I want to go out with my people, my friends, my girlfriends, or whoever else I'm doing. Or like, you can't tell me what to do.
Wants to go out with another
guy friend.
Yeah, and I think that too. So this other woman said, this was on the Oprah show, the one on the Oprah show. She said she thought about the wife a lot. I thought that was interesting. Like, being that she was having an affair, it's like, well, what did you think about the wife? Did you think about her at all? And she's like, no, I thought about her a lot. And it was kind of like, oh, that's.
And you still did it.
No, and then because what she said, I accepted the wife. She accepted him having a wife like you would accept a man who has a child.
Oh, really?
That's how different. She looks at it in her mind. That's what she said. Did you catch that?
No, I missed that. And then the other chick who is still with her man, she says she was just the opposite. I don't want to know anything about her. I don't want to know nothing about her or your relationship. She was like, I don't know. Oprah was asking her questions like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why she's not up happy at home. I don't know. I have no idea. She's like, I want nothing to do.
Right. And it's interesting because it's like, okay, how do you operate like that? Like, you don't know anything about this person. Don't you want to know if she rolls up on you? Like,
that's her safe zone that she can just be like, that allows her to cheat with a married man if she just puts up this wall, you know, of
that's true.
Like almost the wife doesn't even exist. I don't know nothing about her. So I can't get any feel. I can't feel sorry, no empathy for her or anything like that. To me, that's what it sounds like.
And she was like, and when Oprah called her pathetic, she was like, yeah, and I'm probably going to keep seeing. Yeah. I was like, wow. And they were like, she is so far gone. She really needs to get. And it's like, well, okay, let's real quick. The idea that a side chick has like low self-esteem. We talk about this, right? Oh, she has low self-esteem. Oh, she's just lonely and pathetic and useless.
Issues from growing up, you know, with the parents or your household, how you grew up, and daddy issues and whatever.
Right. But we also find that some side chicks just want to have fun. They want the fun without the obligations of a relationship. And then, because I've heard of some women cheating with a married man, and when the married man wants to leave his wife, they like, don't leave her.
No, hold on.
Wait a minute. What we doing?
Hold up, stay over there, Sean. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we have to get, I think, number one, we have to get out of this mindset that everybody is this and this and that. Every man doesn't leave his wife. Every man doesn't stay with his wife. Every woman who's a side chick isn't pathetic, doesn't care. You know, she might not even want a relationship. We don't know. So don't subscribe like these qualities to all side chicks, to all men, to all wives, because it's just not the case. And I think to the wives, this is something I just feel like wives could probably, because there was somebody posted something, they were saying like, oh, Kevin Samuels, I think, posted it, like what wives
Lord
side chick. Because a lot of husbands do divulge a lot of personal information to the woman that they're cheating. They can be more open with her for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And so maybe finding out why he did this, I'm not saying talk to the side chick, but I think instead of villainizing her, maybe you can find out like why he did this. What does she know about him that you don't? How
did you hear about the How was she able? But the one woman who her husband left her when she was pregnant with the fourth child. And that was crazy because he was a pastor or a prayer leader in the church or something.
Yes.
So the fact that he was the only one that actually left a wife, which was really crazy to me, interesting. But I think also he needed to separate from the church. You know, the wife and the family embodied the whole church thing. So once he had crossed the line, it's like, I got to leave that whole situation. And he went with a new woman, but that wife wrote the mistress a letter. And I was like, oh Lord, you didn't do that, girl. But when she read the letter, it was very good. And, you know, it wasn't like she said, you know, you are better than this to want a man who would leave his family and his wife or whatever. You were even better than that. So, you know, I was a little impressed with her letter. I didn't think it was bad as I thought it would have been.
I thought her letter was stupid. I really did.
I wouldn't have written it.
Definitely. To your husband. Did you see she was grabbing him by the ankles when he was trying to leave? That's
girl, yes.
Now that
was pathetic. And that's what Oprah said it. That's what Oprah called her pathetic.
It's like, girl, what are you doing? You gonna grab him by the leg and he's trying to leave? Come on now.
She said that on national TV, girl, on Oprah. I could not believe she said that. That's something I had to take to the grave.
Well, that's probably part of the reason her husband left. Not to say that she's the blame, but something in her, I'm sorry, I can't get on the floor and drag on the floor while my man is dragging me.
He said, She grabbed his ankle and he dragged her down the hallway as she was crying, like screaming, like, don't leave. I said, that is straight from a movie, ain't it?
I was like,
was
that was like what, Diary of a Mad Black Woman? when he
Oh
when
yeah,
she was
sure.
like, no.
He put her out the house. Oh, have mercy.
I was just like, wow.
Don't go out like that, lady.
What'd you say?
I said, don't go out like that, ladies. But Miriam, what do you think? How long should a married wife put up with this? Once you know your dude is cheating, should she just accept it and be like, okay, he's a cheater, but now we have a business relationship. We are here for the kids. Maybe when they're 18, we'll split this thing up. But right now, you know, for the interest. And I'm gonna tell you, women who do believe that, you're fucking up your kids. I'm gonna tell you, you think you're you know, as that woman wrote in the letter, messing up a family and all this. No, the family is already broken, like we said. I'm sure you guys are not being as attentive as you think you are with those kids, and you are not showing your children how to truly love, trust, all these situations that build relationships and make a strong relationship. So you're showing your daughters and your sons weakness and accepting bad behavior. So I just want to say that.
Absolutely. You know, I wholeheartedly agree with that. We always talk about that. I think both of us came from homes where our parents were still married and together, but it was very toxic. And you're setting your kids up, you know, it's kind of like we think that they don't know, and children are so smart, so intuitive. They can feel everything that's going on.
Yeah.
So it's weird how we don't think that they can feel mommy and daddy don't love each other. Mommy and daddy don't like each other. They don't touch each other. They don't talk to each other. You know, they can
or
feel
even
that.
If they do that, daddy still has something going on outside. Like you could tell that, you know, and mommy's mad at that, like all of that going on. Personally, I just want to say I said all of that because my father was abusive to my mother, not to the kids. He could sit down and talk to us, but he used his hands with my mother. So, you know, and she said, I always asked her, why did she stay? They were married for 26 years. She said, I stayed for y'all, for the kids. Y'all don't do that. All of us fucked up. So, yeah. Don't do it.
Stop doing it. But people are still doing it. Stop.
Still doing it.
I think, and it's just like kids would be so much happier seeing their parents happy. You know what I'm an advocate of, Courtney? I have a 5-year-old daughter, as some of you know. I am very honest with my daughter. She might be young, but I still tell her things to help her understand, like, this is reality. Life is not perfect. Mommy and daddy don't live together because mommy and daddy don't get along. But we love you very much. And when you're around, we get along great. Everything's fine.
Right.
She's happy. We're happy. Right. That's a good situation when you can co-parent from a good place. That's the way it should be. Yes. And I told her flat out. And I would even ask my child, like, how do you feel? Like, what do you think about me and your mom's relationship? Do you think that, you know, how do you feel about it? They might surprise you and be like, well, I might say that you guys don't do this, you don't do that. How do you feel about my mom? Have an honest conversation with your children. They will understand, I promise you. And
they might want to get some stuff out.
Yeah, to your point though, you brought up something that I definitely wanted to bring up. And I think I may have mentioned it to you, but it's like, should the wife get any blame for staying with someone who habitually cheats on her? Should we still feel sorry for someone who stays in a situation where she's constantly getting cheated on? Are we holding her accountable? Should we hold her accountable? Or is she still the victim? I feel like, how can you be the victim when you're enabling? At some point, you begin to enable that behavior, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it's like, are we looking at these women like, I mean, what are you doing?
Because you're saying a good word, enable. It's like you have to take the he's a cheater. Okay, but what if it was drugs, alcohol, gambling? It would be the same addiction. He keeps doing it. You're not going to rehab. You're not getting better. You are enabling. You're giving him money to go out and buy the stuff. You are enabling, right?
Yep.
So yeah.
And with the cheating, you're ignoring it. You're acting like it's not happening. You're you're still giving him some, even though he's getting some from somewhere else. That's all enabling, because he's like, oh, she must be okay with it. She's not going anywhere, right. So why should I stop? And last point I wanted,
cooking and cleaning and
in the men's video, he said that it is kind of like Chris Rock said, men cheat according to their options. And these men were like, most men, if given the opportunity, will cheat. But they have to be put in that position to cheat, right? So he said, like, for instance, one guy was like, my woman, I would have to have the other woman, come up to me, freaking rip off her clothes, like, and do all that. So he's saying I wouldn't cheat, but if that happened, if she's trying to give it to me, right, I'm not going to turn it down.
He's a man, he can't turn it down.
Fellas, so in essence, what do you say?
Fellas, why can't y'all just turn it down? Walk away.
They can't. They're weak. Well, I won't say that. Some of y'all are a little weak for women. And one guy admitted it. He was like, I've always been weak for women. Like, if a woman wants to have sex with me, I'm going to have sex with her, whether I'm married or not.
Because also, you just made me remember, Miriam, it's not just about the sex, it's an ego boost, which is a man's #1 characteristic. So it's not just sex, but it's like, oh my God, like I can get that. She wants me. The fact that someone wants you. So if they can't get over, they need that feeling. Like,
yeah. And that's what a lot of them said too. It was like, the way she looked at me, the way she made me feel things that I didn't feel with my wife. Like, she made me all about how it made them feel, it stroked their ego and made them feel good about themselves. Like, oh, I'm desirable now. It's all of that. So, I mean, all in all, it's first of all, we shouldn't be surprised.
And let me just say that is not, hold on, let me say, I'm sorry. And that is not, you cannot blame the wife on that, because yes, the wife has kids and the family and running the household. And it's probably still working like a lot of them are doing. So women, wives, we are not, it's a man that needs to balance that out and keep the spark. Both parties need to keep the spark alive. But go ahead, Mary.
True. And then it's like, I'm all about, like, if you want to stay married, find a way to stay married. Like, whatever that is, whatever works for you. Don't worry about what other people think about your situation or your marriage. If you want to make it an open marriage and test it out, whatever. Do whatever you want to do. If you want to save your marriage, do what you need to do. But if it's hurting you, if the cheating is hurting you, he's not stopping, that's it. He's telling you with his actions that he doesn't want to be married to you anymore. And it's like,
or not to you, but he doesn't want to be married, period. He doesn't want to be married. Period.
So, this was what'd you say?
Yeah. I like what you said, put it on the table. Let's have an open relationship, because I need to get my thing going on too. If you can do it, I can do it. But I wouldn't even say in that. I mean,
I wouldn't.
Please.
I would be out, yeah. No. It's too much. And it's just like,
you ain't about me, you ain't about me. Okay? Not a little bit.
Right. I just don't want to be in a toxic environment. I can't sleep at night because I'm I just don't see how people survive in
losing weight. Right.
Huh? What'd you say?
Losing weight.
Losing weight. Your hair is falling out. You all stressed. Like, that's too much. It's just too much. It's not worth it. Your peace of mind is not worth it. Anxiety, depression, it's not worth it. So I say fix it or get out. That's my final word. What's yours, Court?
All right. Well, that was our show for today. We went long because it was a good topic and we had a lot to discuss, all the different scenarios. I hope y'all got something out of it. Fellas, try not to cheat. Ladies, don't let him cheat. Mistresses, get that money. No. Y'all know I'm a comedian. All right. Thank you. We'll be back next week. Life,
love,
and snacks.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.